I'm here at the craft store looking for craft materials. This is like my true passion and what I do best. I like to make big, large wreaths for my door, and I think usually about a season ahead. So today I'm here at the craft store looking for some inspiration for a fall or Halloween type wreath. My initial thought is something big, something bling that will be really fancy for my front door. So let's get to it. So we're headed over to the seasonal section. This is where I find my main inspiration, and hopefully we find some good stuff. All right, so when I'm looking for something to put on a wreath, I gotta feel and see, what the weight is, because if it's too heavy, you won't be able to mount it. So these pumpkins are nice and light, but too small. This pumpkin's really cool. I can totally bling that out. But I'm thinking that pumpkin's probably just a little too big, so maybe something a little smaller. Pre-made bling. It's a possibility. Alright, so this one may be the one. It's nice and light. It's a little big. It's got a nice sparkle. And it's 40% off, which is always a plus. I'm real meticulous. I see like there's a little scrape here, so I probably wanted to scrap the other one. Alright, this one looks good. We're gonna hold on to this one. Alright, so let's see if there's anything else fall that would look really cool. So what I think I may do is grab one of these little pumpkins, because it may complement the bigger pumpkin. So we're gonna hang on to it. Not for sure on this one yet, but we'll see. All right, so here's where the real inspiration comes in. Picking out what we want our base to be for the wreath, as well as picking out the ribbon. What I like to do is pick out 3 types of ribbon that all complement each other. So if I'm gonna go with this pumpkin theme and the sparkly theme, I probably want to have one base ribbon that is the main colors, and then I'll have another ribbon that isn't as wide but it still is sparkly, and then I want to have a third ribbon that usually is pretty narrow. The other thing I'd like to do as well is make sure that I pick out ribbons that have wire in them, because they're easy to shape and mold. So there's a pretty nice selection of fall ribbon to pick from. I know you're not supposed to do this, but I do it anyways because I like to really see what the texture is of the ribbon. So this is a really nice one. It's got the wired edges, and it's somewhat transparent, so that's a nice one to pick. This one's pretty, but probably a little bit wider than what I would like to use. This is a pretty ribbon that I would layer right behind this ribbon. So you can see when we're starting to put it all together how it's going to look. So the last ribbon that I'll pick out is probably one that's going to be a little bit narrower than the second one, to really just set off the 3 together. Here's where I get indecisive. I start to see so many beautiful things that I start changing it up in my mind. So now I'm thinking, how cool would it be to do a Halloween wreath with a white blinged out pumpkin that we just bling out ourselves. So let's see if there's any Halloween ribbon. We've got 2 ribbons so far, and we've got our pumpkin, and I think I'm gonna go with 2 pumpkins. Our third pumpkin I'm gonna put back because it's, I don't think it's gonna fit what I'm thinking about, so set that right there. So the last thing I'm gonna look for while I'm in this section is something that's like a third item. So if I try and put just a total 3 things on the wreath to make it all cohesive. I see these little scarecrows, which are super duper adorable. So I'm thinking maybe a scarecrow with a pumpkin. She's super cute. I love her little sunflower. And over here I see some other sunflowers that perhaps I can tie in as well. That would be a really great add. So these sunflowers that are kind of big and pretty would be really nice to set it off. So since we're going with the orange ribbon, I think I want a yellow sunflower so it is offset. And those will be our three things that we put in. A general rule of thumb is I try and keep everything in 3s. So a pumpkin, a sunflower, and a scarecrow. Now let's go find our third piece of ribbon in the ribbon section. All right, so our third piece of ribbon. Got some choices here. Let's take a look over here. I could literally spend all day looking at ribbon. All right, so this is a roll of metal ribbon, and I've never used this before, but I think it would look absolutely stunning with this wreath. So, why not? Let's give it a try. So those are going to be our three bands of ribbons. We've got our wide wire rim ribbon. We've got a more narrow, again, wire rimmed ribbon, and then this ribbon that is metal. So I think the 3 complement each other really well. So if I take a look on the back wall here, the other thing that I need to get is mesh. I'm making the ribbon out of the mesh itself. And just as a nice background, I think probably something nice and dark like a brown would be nice. So this dark brown here is probably, so it's a dark with a jute weave in it. And I'm also looking for this width, so this 10-inch width for my wreath. One other thing that I see here is a black and white polka dot ribbon. It's got a nice white stripe on the inside of it. This is really my signature ribbon, what I like to add into all my rolls, so I'm gonna throw that in the basket too. So in the inspiration of fall, and just thinking about how we can bling this wreath out, I think that these will look really cute behind our scarecrow. So I'm gonna grab 2 of these bunches to stick in the wreath as well. So we'll set her down, and behind her we'll have some of these fun grasses. Now we're gonna go and pick out our wreath size itself. When I pick out a wreath size, I have to think about what the door size is itself, because once we put the mesh on the door, then it's gonna be about 5 inches bigger than what the actual wreath is. All right, so there's a lot of fun sizes that we can pick from based on the amount of mesh that we're gonna get. And when you think about the wreath actually being about this much wider on each side, so about 4 inches wider on each side, that's gonna be a nice size wreath for our front door. So this wreath is a 16-inch wreath. When it's all said and done, it'll probably be about 22 to 24 inches wide. So I've got a pretty wide front door. If your front door is a little more narrow, then you probably want to go with a wreath that's maybe a little bit smaller, because again, you're gonna, once you put the mesh on, it's gonna be about 4 inches on each side wider. We're gonna go with this size. So when you pick out the mesh for your wreath, I like to use a 10-inch wire, a 10-inch rather mesh, the Deco mesh ribbon. And this is gonna give us a nice full wreath, and it's gonna give us a lot of nice coverage so you don't see through the background. It'll take 2 of these rolls, so pick up 2 whenever you're grabbing them. All right, so the last step is getting some pipe cleaners, or chenille stems as they're called, to put them all together. Since our wreath is gonna be this dark brown base, I'm just gonna go with a basic brown pipe cleaner because we don't wanna see it. that's what we're gonna wrap everything together with, and we'll keep that as hidden as possible. So we'll just go with a color to match it all up. And that's it. Now let's go put it all together.